Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's practice. This is day 2 of my year of yoga, and we're just going to start out with our toes tucked under our feet and our bottom sitting back on our heels as we take a few deep breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. We're going to breathe in as we raise the hands above the head, bringing hands into prayer position down to our heart space. And just setting an intention for this practice today. Who's on your heart today? Is there anyone that needs a little bit of extra love? Let's send it out to them right now. I'm just going to untuck the toes now and sit comfortably back with our toes flat against the earth. Take a couple more breaths here. And then coming into child's pose, taking the knees out as wide as the mat and sinking the chest towards the floor. And just resting the forehead lightly on your mat, or you can rest it on your arms. Let's take a moment here to take some really deep breaths, filling up the abdomen and then the lungs, and then releasing a long, juicy exhale. And just take a moment to celebrate yourself today as you find some stillness in your day, just for you. As we walk our hands out to the right-hand side, getting a beautiful stretch down the obliques. Let's take 2 rounds of breath here before moving the hands back to center and crossing over to the other side. And then coming back to center. Taking your time to come back up into the seated position. It's going to take a moment to check in and find some fluidity here. Have fun with this. It might feel a little bit silly, but just go with the flow. We just want to find some movement through our spine and our hips before bringing our hands back to heart center and getting this nice deep stretch as we lean forward over our legs, resting our head on the earth or on our arms. And breathing deeply into this pose and any tight spots that you might be feeling right now. Take a moment to send some oxygen and love to those areas. And then slowly walking your hands back in as we change the legs over. Taking a deep breath in as we raise our hands above our head and then forward fold over our legs again as we walk our arms out. And it's okay, you might notice that one side is a little bit tighter than the other And that's okay. Maybe today you can't get as low as you did yesterday. Or maybe you just want to try and melt a little bit closer to the earth, never going past those limitations. Let's take a couple more deep breaths here. And then slowly rolling out of this pose, breathing in as we raise our hands up over our heads and then do a side bend over to the right hand side. Beautiful stretch in the obliques on this one, breathing in and exhaling as we lean over to the other side. You can close the eyes down for this or leave them open. Breathing in and then exhaling on the bend. Inhaling, exhaling to the other side. If you have any back problems like scoliosis or anything like that, just be careful with the side bends. You might just want to take a moment to just sit and breathe rather than doing the side bends. And now we're just going to go into a little bit of a neck stretch. You can use your hand to gently place on the side of your head if you like, but just be really careful not to push it past its limits. And then changing over to the other side, remembering to breathe as we move through this pose. Let's just check back in. Take a couple of deep breaths before stretching both legs out in front, giving them a little shake, and then tucking one foot in towards the pelvis as we stretch one leg out. And this is where you're really going to see how inflexible I am. And then taking your left arm over the head and getting that side stretch as well as the hamstring stretch. And breathing through this practice. And now we're going to change over to the other side. Left leg goes out straight. And then bringing the right arm up and over the head for another beautiful oblique stretch and hamstring stretch. Just exhaling as we come out of this pose, taking both legs wide now and coming down as far as you can. You might have the flexibility to go all the way to the floor, or you might be like me and are getting close to your feet. Let's take a couple of deep breaths here. If you have a block or a bolster handy, you can pop that under the sit bones so you can get a little bit more of a stretch. And then slowly coming up out of this pose as we go for a beautiful twisted pose, taking the right bended leg over the left and just hugging that knee in towards the side as we twist our upper body towards our back right hand that's on the ground behind us. And just get some lengthening in the spine here as we breathe deeply into this pose. And then unraveling as we take the left leg over the right leg now, hugging it in towards our chest, and then taking our gaze back over that left shoulder. Another round of breath here. And then unraveling, Legs out in front, give them a little shake. And now we're going to go into this bented side pose on one knee. So the right knee is bent and we've got the left leg straight with our left arm stretched up and over our head, taking our gaze up towards the sky or the ceiling. And then we're going to come down into our first downward facing dog, and you can pedal out those feet, pedal out the legs, get some movement and blood and oxygen flowing in the back of those calves. Let's take it a moment to find some stillness. And now we're going to bring that left leg forward and do a little twist in the spine here as we keep that back leg up off the ground, or you can lower the knee so it's on the mat if you need to. Now we're just going to come into this lunge pose, getting a beautiful stretch through the quads and the pelvis. And on the exhale, we're just going to come back and give those hamstrings a good stretch. Now, if you can't get down very far, just go as far as you can. Breathing in, coming back into the lunge, exhaling back into the hamstring stretch. Let's do this one more time in a nice big, deep, juicy stretch in those hips and pelvis before coming back to stretch out those hamstrings. And boy, are my hamstrings tight. I'm just going to come back into a downward dog position. Again, you can pedal out the legs or you can find some stillness. Whatever feels best for you. And we're going to take the right leg between the hands now and twist so that our right arm is up towards the ceiling or the sky. Taking our gaze up towards our fingertips. Breathing deeply here for a couple of rounds before placing that hand back down to earth, dropping that back knee and untucking the toes, and coming into our lunge position. Exhaling as we move back, bottom over that heel that's on the back foot. Breathing in, coming forward into that lunge position again. And then exhaling as we sit down on that back foot, getting that beautiful stretch in that hamstring. One last time, taking our gaze all the way out as far as you can before sitting back into that seated hamstring stretch. And say hi to the neighbours cat that has just joined us as we go into this last downward facing dog. We're just going to come into the other side now for our side bend. Again, getting that beautiful elongated stretch through the obliques. And if you want, you can take that right arm up towards the ceiling as well. So you're in a little bit more of a star shape. And then placing the hand back down to earth and coming into a seated position as we take a few rounds of breath here. Just checking in to see if there's any sore spots that need attention before coming into our seated boat position. Just finding a comfortable V shape with the body, and you can do some toe taps if you like, or you can take the legs out straight if you're a bit more flexible than I am. And here comes Milkshake again, rolling down into that lying position. That was magic. The cat disappeared, and now we're going into our beautiful glute stretch, flexing that right foot and bending that leg as we take our left hand through the hole and linking it up with our right hand behind the hamstring on that right leg, and then gently pulling that leg towards our chest to get that beautiful stretch. And changing over once we've done a little bit of a knee hug, taking our right knee over our left this time. Flexing that left foot, pulling the toes back towards the head, and gently pulling that left leg towards the chest. Remember to breathe during this position. And now we're going to come into our happy baby. So just hooking the fingers around the big toes and extending the legs out wide as we find some stillness and a beautiful stretch in and around the pelvis and the upper legs. You might want to do a gentle rock side to side. One last hug for our beautiful knees as we come into our final resting pose and my favorite, Savasana. Just make any last minute adjustments, getting comfortable as you take a moment to relax. Take a few deep breaths, feeling the air, feel the belly, chest, throat, and then slowly exhaling. We'll do that one more time. And exhale. And just take your breath back to normal breathing as you find your inner peace in this pose. Just find yourself relaxing more and more as your body melts into the earth. You're going into deep relaxation. And just know you are worthy of this time that you've gifted yourself today. And you should celebrate that worthiness and practice some self-love and kindness as you move about your day. Just taking another minute or so to connect with your soul, spirit, that higher power that we often feel is guiding us through life. Tapping into that source energy and feeling grateful that someone is watching over you and you are safe and you are loved and you are perfect just as you are. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Just bringing your awareness back into your body now, wriggling the toes, the fingers, stretching the arms, right up above the head, pointing our toes in the other direction. Maybe doing some hand stretches, pulling those fingers back. Doing a beautiful stretch through our hands. And then when you're ready, rolling over to the side in that fetal position. And just take a moment for yourself here. Before rolling up into the seated position. Keeping the eyes closed. Relaxing the shoulders. Be proud that you showed up today for yourself. Bringing our hands to heart center and raising them to our third eye. May we have kind and loving thoughts today. Bringing our hands to our lips. May we speak kind and loving words today. And as we bring our hands to our heart space, may we have kind and loving intentions today. I hope something beautiful happens to you wherever you are in the world. Namaste.